ஆடும் பரிவேல் அணி சேவல் என பாடும் பணியே பணியாய் அருள்வாய் தேடும் கயமா முகனை செருவில் சாடும் தனியானை சகோதரனே. திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். பூழியர்கோன் உட்பொழித்த போலியர்கோன் கடல் போற்றி ஆழிமிசை கல் மிதப்பில் அணைந்த பிரான் அடி போற்றி வாழி திரு நாவலூர் வன்தொண்டர் பதம் போற்றி ஊழிமலி திருவாத ஊரர் திருத்தாள் போற்றி. திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். உலகலாம் உணர்ந்து ஓதற்கரியவன் நிலவுலாவிய நீர்மலி வேணியன் அலையில் சோதியன் அம்பலத்தாடுவான் மலர் சிலம்படி வாழ்த்தி வணங்குவான். திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். நேசம் நிறைந்த உள்ளத்தால் நீளம் நிறைந்த மணிகண்டத்து ஈசனடியார் பெருமையினை எல்லா உயிரும் தோழை எடுத்து தேச உய திருத்தொண்ட தொகை முன் பணித்த திருவாளர் வாசமலர் மண்கடல் வணங்க வந்த பிறப்பை வணங்குவாம். திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். தென்னாடுடைய சிவனையே போற்றி எந்நாட்டவர்க்கும் இறைவா போற்றி ஏகம்பத்துறை எந்தாய் போற்றி பாகம் மண்ணூர் ஆனாய் போற்றி பராய்த்துறை மேவிய பரணையை போற்றி சிராப்பள்ளி மேவிய சிவனையே போற்றி அண்ணாமலைய மன்னா போற்றி கண்ணாரமுத கடலே போற்றி காவாய் கனகத்திரளே போற்றி கைலை மலையானே போற்றி போற்றி வெற்றிவேல் முருகனுக்கு அரோகரா. திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். அண்ட சராசரங்களுக்கெல்லாம் அதிபதியாக விளங்கக்கூடிய முருகப்பெருமானுடைய ஒப்பற்ற பெருங்கருணையினாலே ஞானத்திரள் சார்பாக நாம் மாதந்தோறும் சிந்தித்து வருகின்ற பெரிய புராணத்தை நாயன்மார்கள் வரலாற்றை ஆங்கிலத்திலே சிந்திக்கின்ற ஞான வேள்வியிலே நாம் தொடர்ந்து செய்து வருகிற பாங்கிலே இந்த மாதம் நாம் மூர்த்தி நாயனாரை சிந்திப்பதற்கு திருவருள் கூட்டியிருக்கிறது. Each and every Nayanar is unique in his own profile, in his own profile. Every Nayanmar, they have devoted themselves completely to the service of Lord Shiva. They don't have anything in this world except the thought of Lord Shiva, the service of Lord Shiva, and nothing else. They will be very happy to render service to the adiyars also in par with Lord Shiva. If they do some service for Lord Shiva, they will be doing it with wholeheartedness. Similarly, they will render service to the adiyars also as if they are rendering the service to the Lord Shiva himself. So, they consider the adiyars to be Lord Shiva himself. They will abide by the rules of Saivat, and they will have their own way of rendering the service to Lord Shiva. For example, some people will be rendering service to the temple, some people will be rendering service to the garden from where the flowers are plucked and dedicated to Lord Shiva. They will be rendering service to adiyars by way of feeding them or by washing their clothes or giving them whatever they want. Likewise, the services are many. The adiyars, they will be considered to be Lord Shiva, and if they ask for anything, they will the Nayanmars will consider themselves that it has been demanded by Lord Shiva himself. So they will even sacrifice their life to fulfill the requirement. We have been seeing the Nayanmars and their wholehearted service in the episodes, the past episodes, and we must have learned to a certain extent that how Nayanmars will behave when they see Adyars, how Nayanmars will behave when they go to temple, how Nayanmars will behave when they were asked to render service. All these things we must have seen to a certain extent in the past episodes. But as I already told you, each Nayanmar is unique in his own nature. So they will opt for some service and they will stick to the service till their last day. They will sacrifice anything for that service. They will not sacrifice the service for anything, even for their life. So that's how they live. They consider their life has been accorded to them to render service to Lord Shiva, and they would be very joyous to render the service also. They will be thanking the Lord for having given them the opportunity to render the service. They will request him to give all the vigor and strength and mind to continue and to render the service without any interruption. So, the ultimate aim of their life is to think about Lord Shiva, talk about Lord Shiva, doing service for Lord Shiva. So it would be their ultimate aim of their life. They will pick out some specific service and render the service without any hesitation, without any reservation. They would be rendering the service. Today we are going to see one unique Nayanar, Murthy Nayanar. Murthy Nayanar. He is a special Nayanar. He is a special Nayanar, as a matter of fact. See, the Pandya kings ruled the Pandyan kingdom. They ruled the Pandyan kingdom. The capital was called Madurapuri in those days. Now it is known as Madurai. Once upon a time during Pandya kingdom, it was known as Madurapuri. So Madurapuri as the capital, Pandyan kings were ruling the Pandya kingdom. In Madhurapuri, there was a Lord Shiva temple known as Thiru Alavai. In Thiru Alavai, Sokanadar was gracing their devotees immensely. So, Murthy Nayanar was belonging to the Madurai as his native place. Madhurapuri as his native place. In those days, Madhurapuri was a prosperous town with the tall buildings reaching up to the sky. It was always a large and planned city. Madurai is always called a planned city. The whole city would have been conceived with the temple at the center. Even now it has not been much disturbed. It has not been much disturbed. Another important thing about Madurai is it was there the Sangam was established, 3 Sangams, Mudar Changam, Midi Changam, Kadai Changam. The Kadai Changam was there in Madhurapuri, headed by Lord Shiva. There were poets, and the Sangam is called the seat of Tamil poets. And one of the major works of or services of the king is to develop the Tamil culture and language. So the king, the Pandyan king, will be spending a good part of his time in developing Tamil language and also taking care of the poets and encouraging them to develop Tamil poems and all. So this is another aspect that we must remember about Madurai. And Madurai was full of merchants. The merchant community was living very prosperously in that town. Our Murthy Nayanar was belonging to that community. He was belonging to that community. He was a respected member of that community. Of course, from childhood, he was always attracted towards Lord Shiva and services. So he never spent time in developing the trade skill or to develop his wealth and all. With his wealth, available wealth, he was doing one service to Lord Shiva in Thiru Alavai. He was not having any family. Of course, he had his own part of property and wealth. So, he was thinking of rendering service to Lord Shiva in Thiru Alavai, Sokanadar, in his own way. What he thought was, every day the deity Sokanadar was applied sandal paste. So he thought that I would be bringing the good and costly sandal from the woods, so that I am rendering the service to Lord Shiva till my last day. That was his motto. So what he thought was, he went to the Podigai hills himself, Podigai hills, and there were a lot of trading people selling sandalwood logs, and he would be procuring the logs from them directly and would be bringing them to his place, taking each piece every day and going to temple, and he would be grinding them on a special stone slab to make the sandalwood paste for applying on the deity. So every day he would be going one day and procuring in a lot, so he would be taking a log every day, and out of the sandalwood piece he would be grinding it on the stone and making a paste. He would be giving to the temple priest. The temple priest would be applying it on the Sokanadar, and he would be very much pleased on seeing that. Not only him, other devotees were also enjoying their type of service, and devotees were very happy on this service rendered by our Murthy. He carried out his duty, he carried out this service every day without fail. He would be not going anywhere, leaving Madurai for any occasion, for any other matter. He would not be leaving Madurai, he would be staying at Madurai. Every day he would be going to temple and would be preparing the paste and would be supplying for applying on the deity. At that time, Jainism was fastly spreading in the south of Tamil Nadu, the south of Tamil Nadu. See, the very bad thing about the other religions is the other religions would be always cunningly seeing whether the Hindus can be converted into their religion. It is not happening today. It was happening in the past ages also. Jains did that, Buddhists did that, Christians are doing now, Muslims are doing it. Everybody will be trying to convert the Hindus into their religion by giving out some sort of attractions or by threat or by adopting so many methods, they would be converting. So the main criterion why this happens is, in Hindu, you can be a Hindu only by birth, not by conversion. Hindu religion doesn't encourage the conversion from other religions to Hindu religion. A Christian cannot be converted into a Hindu. A Muslim cannot be converted into a Hindu. A Buddhist cannot be converted into a Hindu. A Jain cannot be converted into a Hindu. A Hindu can be a Hindu only by birth. Using this criteria, using this detail, this sector, the other religions are using this sect of converting Hindus into their religions. It was going on in the past ages and even now. But the Hindus are to be alert and open-eyed, and they must be also receiving good advices from the elders. They should be able to diagnose, understand what actually in the background of the conversion. You can be a religious person of a particular religion only by birth. Is it not? What is the point in converting and getting into the God? How can you get into the God by conversion of a religion? No, you cannot go to the God himself. So I have asked you to be in a religion, why you are coming here? He would be asking, if their God is a real God, they would be asking, they wouldn't be encouraging the conversions at all. Conversions at all. Every religion has its own principles and concepts to be followed. So, in those days, during Murthy Nayanar period, in the south, the Jainism was spreading like poisonous gas. It was spreading. People were given so much of attractions and they were converted to Jains, and this was going on. But it cannot reach Madurai town, Madurai town, because Pandyan king was following Saivat and he was encouraging Saivats, and he was also encouraging the maintenance of the temple, Shiva temples. So because of him, Jainism was not able to crop up in Madurai. In those days, at the time, there was a powerful king, Vaduka king, in the north. Vaduka king. He was always having an eye over Pandyas and Madurai. He wanted to somehow or other capture Madurai and conquer Pandyan kingdom. So he was planning continuously. And he did it cunningly, that he had a large army, cavalry and elephants, and he prepared small batches of army. He certainly brought the batches of army into the town and somehow or other managed to mingle them with the public and the army of Pandyan. So, without the knowledge of the king or without the notice of the people, slowly their army was mingling in the places, and they had powerful places notified by them in Madurai. All of a sudden, one day, at an opportunate moment, the Vaduka king forces rose up and fought with the local forces and easily conquered, because the local forces were taken aback, taken by surprise. So they were not able to withstand for a long period. Vaduka king won, and he captured the Madurai and also conquered the Pandyan king. So he became the king of Madurai. Unfortunately, the Vaduka king was following Jainism. So when he seated in the kingdom, the Jain Pandits, the Jain mentors, they got a favorable wind and they all went into action immediately. They influenced the people. Because of the influence of the king, they influenced the people and they started dominating the entire Madurai. So they were very keen in preventing people entering Thiru Alavai temple itself. See, the religion, if it offers some attractive things, some people will be attracted, but it doesn't have the morality to detain or prevent others to follow their own religion. Jains, what did they do is, they actually prevented from the Hindu who were still believing their own religion and concept and who did want to go to their temples, they were prevented by the Jains. They didn't allow them to make worship. They prevented the pujas in the Alavai. They did all this nonsense. And at that time, our Murthy, when he used to go to temple and offer the sandal paste, they somehow or other found out that how he got this sandalwood. So they closed all the outlets in Podigai Hills, so that he would not be able to get any sandalwood. So they closed all the outlets. Murthy was not able to get the sandalwood, but he somehow or other managed to render the service with the available sandalwoods in his place. But that didn't last long. Sandalwood is not available, was not available. Sandalwood was not available. He was upset. One fine day, when he found that no sandalwood was available and he would not be able to render the service, he said, I would not stop grinding even though I don't have the sandalwood. I will not stop my service. So he went to the temple. He went to the temple. So instead of the sandalwood, he used his elbow. Used his elbow. He considered this to be sandalwood. On the large stone, the slab is, every day he would be grinding the sandalwood on that stone itself. So he was putting his elbow on the stone and he started rubbing the elbow on the stone to get some paste. So the blood was oozing out. The nerves got cut. The bones were exposed. He didn't stop. He was going on grinding. Till I get this sandalwood paste, I would be doing this. He was going on. Lord Shiva could not bear the sight and he raised the voice so that Murthy Nayanar could hear. Oh, what a service you are doing. Stop doing this. I have acknowledged your service. See, very soon there is going to be a change of rule. There is going to be change of rule. And you are going to rule it. You render better governance. You render better governance. Better governance. And do whatever good you want to the people. Understand? He said. So suddenly Murthy Nayanar heard the Almighty's voice, Asariri. He heard the voice and stopped doing the rubbing of the elbow on the stone. Immediately he saw it was all healed by the grace of Lord Shiva, and he waited. Since the Lord has told him to wait for good things to happen. See, people will be following the orders of Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva, in a proper, appropriate moment, gave the order so that Murthy Nayanar could stop and wait. In that night, something unexpected happened. The king died suddenly. The death was sudden. For unknown reasons, he met with his death. Since he was dead, since he died leaving his wife alone, they had no heirs. So, who is to become the next king was the question. So, the elders, the ministers, they all conferred in order to decide. In order to decide what to be done next. The country cannot be without a king. See, in any moment, at any point of moment, somebody should be the king of the country. The country should not be without should be with a king. So what they decided that some king has to be elected, whether it has to be elected or selected. They were discussing. See, the senior people told, if the country is not with a king, then it is like a body without a soul. So we must be immediately doing something. The seniors were advising the ministers. The ministers decided that they would be adopting the old tradition for selecting a king. That is, they would be selecting a suitable citizen and crown him. Anybody from the citizen. But how to select a citizen? For this purpose, they decided to tie a scarf on the elephant's head, around the head of the royal elephant. They will tie a scarf over the head so that the sight can be, it cannot see, the elephant cannot see. That scarf will prevent it from seeing. So if the vision is prevented, and the elephant was decorated with the flowers, and it would be asked to go and pick out a citizen from the temple entrance or from nearby a temple. A citizen may be elected, and that person would be the person awarded by Lord Shiva as if the king of the Pandyan kingdom. So they proceeded. They brought the royal elephant, they decorated the royal elephant, and they tied a scarf over his head so that the elephant cannot see, and with the closed eyes the elephant was driven lightly to go on its own accord. To go on its own accord. The mahout will not direct, but he will be accompanied, but the elephant will go on its own course. So they did all the necessary rituals, and the elephant was let out and it was going out. In the meantime, on hearing the verdict of Lord Shiva that he would become the king of the Pandyan kingdom and he would be doing the governance with all his own ideas. So he woke up in the morning, took up a bath, and he was told that the king died, and it has been decided to elect a king from the citizens. So many citizens were swarming the city. So many people gathered near the temple, thinking that they may be elected by the elephant, but the elephant will go by the Lord Shiva's grace. So everybody was swarming the city. He also, Murthy Nayanar was also, because by the verdict of Lord Shiva in the late night, he told him that he would be selected as king. So he went into the city, he neared the temple and was standing among the people. He was not projecting himself out, but he was standing among the people and he was waiting. And at that time the elephant came over there. It reached the temple entrance and it directly came slowly towards Murthy Nayanar, and it knelt before him, so that the elephant's head is on the ground, and raising its trumpet and raising his long hand, he was offering all the blessings in the way of sound. The elephant was shouting. So it knelt before Murthy Nayanar and with the bells jingling touched the ground and raised in the trunk in salute. It raised this trunk in salute. Everybody was raising their voices with joy. It then rose up, the elephant rose up. It took his trunk round the Murthy Nayanar and hooked him and lifted him, and it seated him on its back on the seat. So he was sitting there in few seconds. So people were enjoying the scene and they were raising all sorts of Om, Lord Shiva, Oh, Hara Hara. They were raising the slogans. Because most of the people in the town know Murthy Nayanar and his service. Most of them know. So they all thought that God has selected him the apt person through the elephant. He was the right person. So he should be the king of the Pandyan kingdom. Everybody was happy about the occasion. So the elephant was moving from the temple towards the palace. All the ministers and the elders were eagerly awaiting. They heard the news that it has selected, the royal elephant has selected the king, and they were all waiting with a joyous mood. The elephant reached there And the ministers and others welcomed the new king, and they all said that he would be crowned in a short while. And Murthy was asked to take bath, holy bath, and they prepared for the coronation. The Vedic scholars were kindling the sacred fire and performing yajna. Seeing all those things, Murthy somehow or other he was not approving the situation. He slowly called the ministers and the elders and told them, "Oh my good people, I have become the king because of Lord Shiva's grace. I want to rule the kingdom not as a king but as a disciple of Lord Shiva. In every aspect, in every step, it should be reflected upon. So you are going to crown the king as usual, but I don't want that crown to be put on my head. Instead, my long hair, my own hair, Jadamudi, would be the crown I would be having." You see the picture, you can see the Jadamudi as the crown. So that Jadamudi would be my crown. Let me be allowed to have that as my crown, nothing else. And I will not have any ornaments except Rudrakshas. Except Rudraksh. So I will be wearing Rudrakshas as my ornaments. And I will not apply any sandal powder or any other perfumes. I will be having only the holy vibhuti smeared all over my body and forehead. So I am going to rule the Pandyan kingdom based on only these three things. These three things are the three things accorded by Lord Shiva. They are the symbols of Saivam. They are the symbols, three great symbols of Saivam. Tirudiru, Rudraksham, Sadamudi. So these three symbols of Saiva should be taken up by me as the symbols of the kingdom. So let me be having all the three as my symbols of my kingdom and rule the country. So kindly bear with me and you avoid all the other things that you want to give it to me or adorn me." He was saying like that, but the ministers and others were very happy and they said, "You are the king. Whatever you say, whatever you accord, whatever you order will be implemented. If you say this is the thing to be done, we will follow it. So we will be going along with you. We will be carrying out your orders." So they all accepted the concepts placed before them by the king. Thus the humble Adiyar became the king of the Pandyan kingdom of the land, and still, of course, even though he was a king, he still followed the habits of a mendicant. So he would not be living a royal life. He was not living a royal life. Just as a mendicant, being seated as a king, he ruled the country. He protected his people and looked after all their needs. he protected the all the people at par. The most attractive thing is he didn't differentiate between the Jain and the Saivat. He allowed the people to follow their own religion, follow their own principles according to their likes. He preached the people not to dislike or show the hatred towards others. So he also saw to that Saivat principles were saved and the worship and services continued in the country. So he saw to it that no one was persecuted on account of religion. He ruled the land well for many years and then reached the Lord's abode. Since he was ruling the entire kingdom by the three symbols of Saivam, he was known as Mummayal Ulahanda Murthikum Adiyen by Sundramurti Swami. Mummayal Ulahanda Murthy என்று he was addressed by our beloved Sundramurti Nayanar. So because of his real, sincere, honest devotion, the Lord has accorded him as the king to rule over the country for certain period, so that the Saivats can flourish and the Saivism can be properly protected. So in any period of time, if some bad things happen to Saivam, Lord Shiva, he would be sending persons, he would be deputing the personnel to take care of the Saivism. That has been the history of Saivism. If you go through it, you can understand, you can see. So our Murthy Nayanar was sent at the very chronic time to Pandyan kingdom to establish the Saivism by nature. So with this, we are just closing down the episode of Murthy Nayanar. It was a very well episode, it was a very well history of a Nayanar, teaching us that we should be following the principles, even though small hurdles happen in our life, for our principles to be followed, for our policies to be followed. We should not sacrifice our principles and follow. For example, we are performing puja daily. We are visiting temple daily. On some occasion, if some guests were, if guests arrived, we just stop the doing puja or visiting the temple because of the guests we are forced to boycott that. But that shouldn't happen. Even if the guests arrived, you must be able to perform the puja with the guests, or announcing them that you have to go on with the puja, and they may be better waiting, or they may be better accompanying to the temple, because you are having the principle of visiting temple daily. So whenever you follow some principle, don't lose the grip of the principle because of some hurdle that would be happening in your life. That is the teaching we are getting, and it would be properly rewarded by Lord Shiva also. So it is being noticed by Lord Shiva. Don't think that we are every day visiting temple, who is going to notice. Don't think like that. Every service would be noticed by Lord Shiva and would be accorded acknowledgement at the appropriate time. With this, I am ending this episode, and let us chant the piloted mantra now. Before that, I want you to visit our website, and also Facebook and YouTube. You can go over there, you can visit there. Updated informations are available. I am the editor of Jnanathiral, and Jnanathiral has been coming out for the last 12 years, and it is the 13th year it's running. You must be subscribing to Jnanathiral. You must also ask others to subscribe to Jnanathiral. It is a Tamil monthly giving all the details of Saivam in a simple way. So you subscribe, and also encourage others to subscribe. And I have also written books, Rajanga Samayam, Arumuga Sivan, Rattai Manimale, all those things are there. And a proud presentation of Jnanathiral is Jnana Kuzhandai English version in comics book. See, the children would be very much attracted if you give it to them as a gift or a birthday gift. They would be very much pleased. See, they would be reaping out good manners also. The Jnanasambandha Peruman would be their hero. They would be having better manners, and they will cultivate better good habits also. So better getting Jnana Kuzhandai and you gift the children. I have also written some other books also. If you want, you can inquire and get them. The USBs are also available for Trinyana Tirunavukarasar, Sundaramurthy Swamigal. I have given out the explanation for all the songs in Periya Puranam. I have explained all the songs in Periya Puranam, in Tirunavukarasar, Trinyana Sambandar, Sundaramurthy Swamigal. Those things are also available. You can get them. If you want, you can just ring up to the number available on the flyer, and you can get them posted. Now let us come to the conclusion. Let us chant the 5-lettered mantra. At this time, I want to thank the Qatar couple, Mrs. and Mr. Saravanan. They are the people behind the scene. They are very keen. They are very keen to promote this project. So that each and every month, at least 2 Nayanmars we should be thought of. So that in English, so that people who are not well versed with Tamil, they would be able to understand the concept of Nayanmars, their real life, their real sacrifice, and the ardent devotees of Lord Shiva should be made known to people who are not Tamilians or who are not well versed in Tamil. So that is their motive, and on that motive alone they are sponsoring these programs. I request all the people to thank them, and I also pray Lord Shiva to bestow his blessings upon them. Now let us chant the 5-lettered mantra. Om Namah Shivaya. 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 Tiruchitrambalam. தென்னாடுடைய சிவனே போற்றி, என் நாட்டவர்க்கு இறைவா போற்றி, வெற்றிவேல் முருகனுக்கு அரோகரா. திருச்சிற்றம்பலம்.